A very good morning, dear students. Today we are going to start a new chapter, AD, published in 2017, and its writer is Pradeepan Pampirikunnu. His uh, date 1969 to 2016. You can see that AD, the novel, is published posthumously, means after the death of the author. So we can first see the title of the novel. What is the speciality in the name of AD? Here it shows the caste discrimination. The sweetness of the life is enjoyed by the higher caste people, and to the opposite, the sourness, the pungent taste, that is ചവർപ്പ് കഴപ്പ് അനുഭവങ്ങളാണ് ലോവർ കാസ്റ്റ് പീപ്പിൾ അനുഭവിക്കുന്നത്. So every sweetness is under the control of this higher caste. Education, basic civil rights, everything is enjoyed by this higher caste. Even the history is written in their perspective. So here Eri, the main character in the novel, represents this subaltern people, that is lower section of the society. Eri is the hero in this novel. So this is the novel written in the form of journal entries or in the form of research. So you cannot see a classic novel like there is a beginning, ending, like that. It's just some of the records, some of the journals collected in a book about the person, and his name is Eri. So we can see that the novel has an introduction, and it was given by Kalpatta Narayan. He is Kalpatta Narayanan, and he gave the introduction. And I quote some of his lines. If sweetness is really the taste of the upper caste, sourness is the taste of the lower caste. You can see that sweetness belongs to upper caste and sourness belongs to lower caste. So the main character, Eri, rejects the upper norms, and he studies Vedas, and he enjoys all these upper caste rights and their sweetness in secretly. He studies Vedas without their knowledge, and he inspires everyone to have the sweetness in their life. The sweetness is the right of every people. No, it's not only belong to the upper caste, even the lower caste want to enjoy this sweetness in their life. So Eri is the story of a Dalit who made his sour life a sweet one. And we can see that Eriyumna Kanali, because he sacrificed his life for the betterment of his society. He reflects the lower caste, the fierceness to free the lower caste. He want to free the lower caste from the clutches of the upper class society. He fight for his own people's freedom. So these are the main characteristics of the character Eri. So let's look into the writer, Pradeepan Pampirikunnu. Pradeepan Pampirikunnu from 1969 to 2016. He is a writer and is a critic of this caste discrimination, and he is a translator as well. He tried to historicize the subaltern modernity of Kerala. He want to focus on the subaltern views of modernity in Kerala. You know that in everything the upper caste has the hand, had the control over everything. Lower caste is all forgotten in the history. So this writer Pradeepan Pampirikunnu tries to write in the perspective of the lower caste people. He tried for the upliftment of lower caste and their self-dignity. So he tries to express in his works that how this higher caste systematically, they were planned systematically silence the words of this lower caste community in different ways. In history, you cannot see in the history of upper caste, we cannot see the lower caste struggles. They only express their needs, their history. They try to erase everything about this subaltern community. And Eri is his only novel. Before completing this, he has passed away in 2016, and his wife Sajida published this novel in 2017, and it is the incomplete novel. You can see that last verse in novel is that Nan Ezhudan Thodangi. So there is it's an incomplete novel, but there is a lot of significance in this novel. So talking about Eri, the novel, it is written in the journalistic style, as I have already stated it, and I am repeating. And we cannot see a novel like structure. There is beginning and nothing is there. It's just a research paper of a researcher. Here the researcher means the narrator of the story. He takes interest in the life of Parayan Eri, and he starts researching about his life. And novel progresses in the eyes of a researcher. And the novel is set in the mid 19th century, that is in the 1850s. And the place where the novel is set is in Kurumbaranadu, and it is in northern Kerala, means Malabar area, Kannur, Kasarkot, like this. And Kurumbaranadu is the original place, and there is some imaginary place. So Eri is born for the Parayan father and Malayan mother, and he belongs to Kurumbaranadu. The homeland of Eri is an imaginary region. There is no such a place like that, and it is set up in the novel Parayanarapuram in the old taluk of Kurumbaranadu in North Kerala. And in this novel, Eri is imagined as the reformer. He is a social reformer of the subalterns, and he led the social reformation of this Paraya community. And in the second hand, I already mentioned the time, that is in 1850s. So, and it is this reformation takes place much before the movements that were headed by Sri Narayana Guru. So Eri can be considered as an imaginary character, or maybe he existed or not, but life of Eri has to be read. That is the main aim of the author. The life of the Paraya community in the perspective of subalterns, means അവരുടേതായ പരായ കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റിയുടെ അവരുടേതായ കാഴ്ചപ്പാടിൽ ഒരു നോവൽ എഴുതണം. Not in the perspective of the higher caste, but in the perspective of lower caste. So he took this character Eri, who belongs to the lower caste community. And in order to write this novel, he looked for many sources of memoir. Memoir means ഓർമ്മക്കുറിപ്പ്, gossips, ആചാരങ്ങൾ, അവരെ ഗോത്രത്തിൽപ്പെട്ട ആചാരങ്ങൾ, പിന്നെ ഓറൽ ഹിസ്റ്ററീസ്, പറഞ്ഞ് കണ്ട് നടക്കുന്ന ഹിസ്റ്ററീസ് ഉണ്ടാവും. ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് നോട്ട് റിട്ടൺ. So there are many sources he has collected in order to write the life of write this novel. So here the novel tries to make a history on this Paraya community from in its transit to modernity, from this change of their perspective to modernity, and retells the Renaissance of Kerala from a Paraya male perspective. So you can see that he wants to say transit means മാറ്റങ്ങൾ. പരായ കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റീസ് ചേഞ്ചസ്, കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റീസിലുണ്ടായ ചേഞ്ചസ് ഫ്രം ഓൾഡ് ടു മോഡേണിറ്റി. ഇതൊക്കെ ആരുടെ പെർസ്പെക്റ്റീവിലാണ്? ഫ്രം ദി പറായൻ പെർസ്പെക്റ്റീവ് ഇറ്റ് സെൽഫ്. ഇറ്റ് ട്രൈസ് ടു ഹിസ്റ്റോറിസൈസ് their community, and he tries to take the perspective of Parayan male perspective. Renaissance means നവോത്ഥാനം. നവോത്ഥാനത്തിൻ്റെ ചരിത്രത്തിൽ, കേരളത്തിൻ്റെ ചരിത്രത്തിൽ പറായ കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റിനെ കുറിച്ച്, അവരെ പെർസ്പെക്റ്റീവ് കുറിച്ച് ആരും ഒന്നും പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. ബട്ട് ദിസ് റൈറ്റർ പ്രദീപൻ പമ്പരക്കുന്ന് tries to show the Parayan perspective, male perspective. So you have to study only section of the novel, that is the introduction of Eri, and it was only introduces the character, who is Eri, where is from, how he is different from others, how he has reformed his society, what are the changes he brought into this society. And another topic is about Pulappedi or Parappedi, where the men of the Pulaya, Paraya or Mannan caste, that are the so-called slave caste, would roam, means they will walk around the villages to defile means കലങ്കപ്പെടുത്തുക. ഈ അപ്പർ കാസ്റ്റ് വുമനെ കലങ്കപ്പെടുത്തിയിട്ട്, ഈ അപ്പർ കാസ്റ്റ് വുമൻ എവിടെയാണോ ഒറ്റക്കുള്ളത് അവരെ കണ്ടു എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് അവരെ കളങ്കപ്പെടുത്തിയിട്ട് അവരെ വീട്ടിലേക്ക് കൊണ്ടുപോവുക. വെൻ ദേ സോ ദിസ് വുമൻ, ദ വുമൻ വർ ഡീകാസ്റ്റഡ് ഫ്രം ദർ സൊസൈറ്റി. ആ വുമനെ മൊത്തത്തിൽ പുറത്താക്കും, ഈ അപ്പർ കാസ്റ്റ് സൊസൈറ്റിയിൽ നിന്ന് പുറത്താക്കും. സോ ദേ ഹാവ് ടു ലിവ് വിത്ത് ദിസ് lower caste men. This is the Pulappedi tradition. We can see that this tradition may be followed to not to allow women to stray outside. In those days, women were not allowed to go outside. She is allowed only inside. She must stay inside the home. So this ritualistic tradition of Parappedi or Pulappedi is shown in the perspective of Pulaya, Pulaya Mannans, because the higher caste perspective is entirely different from this lower caste. So here the writer tries to show പുലയന്മാരുടെ കാഴ്ചപ്പാടിലൂടെയാണ് ഈ ഒരു റിച്വലിനെ റൈറ്റർ പ്രസൻറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. So I will mention some more details about this higher caste and the lower caste. ഈ മലബാർ ഏരിയയിലുള്ളവർക്ക് മേലഴവർ, കീഴഴവർ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് രണ്ട് വിഭാഗങ്ങളുണ്ട്. ദിസ് ലോവർ കാസ്റ്റ്, അവർക്ക് പുറത്ത് പോകാൻ, രാവിലെ പുറത്ത് പോകാനുള്ള അനുവാദമുണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. ഇഫ് ദേ ഹാവ് സീൻ ദേ വിൽ ബി പണിഷ്ഡ്. ചാറ്റവാർ കൊണ്ട് അടി കിട്ടുമായിരുന്നു. ദേ ആർ അലൗഡ് ഓൺലി ടു walk in their nights. So let's discuss about Pulappedi or Mannappedi. This is a ritual where these men of lower caste will seize the upper caste women when they are alone, and they will shout, I have seen, njan kande. Then all the members of the society arrive there, and they decast the woman from the society, and she has to live with this Parayan, and if she does not agree to this, she has to die. There is no other way. This is a ritual that is practiced in Kerala during this era of 19th century. It is very bad, and we can see about the novel, the character Eri. So in this novel, Eri is presented like a hero. His presented in a heroic style like in Vadakkan Pattu. And his life was full of sweetness, which is in contrast with his name. His name is Eri, but his life is full of sweetness. And this is proved by with his own life. He learned Sanskrit and Kalaripayat, which were not allowed to learn by this lower caste. And he has the man who brought sweetness into his life as well as his community's life. And the sweetness was only belonged to this higher caste? No. This Eri changed this concept. He has also brought the sweetness into the lives of his community. Eri tries to change the systems in society, and he fought for the sweetness of his community. Now let's see into the family tree of Eri. How there is a man called Veliyanur Raman and his daughter Veliyanur Mathu. And Veliyanur Mathu marries Vellarakannulla, a Parayan, and his name is not mentioned. So this Veliyanur Mathu and Parayan's son is named Eri, Parayan Eri. And later he marries a Tia girl. This is the family tree of Eri. So let's start the lesson. So let's move on to the chapter Eri, written by Pradeepan Pampirikunnu. And here the chapter is in the form of 3 parts. And you will be introducing the character of Eri using memoirs, folk tales, some rituals. In this form, there is no any linear progressing. There is no beginning, there is no ending, and it's in the research scholar's view. And the perspective is Parayan's perspective, and and it is a modern text. What is modern text? Modern text is that there is no correct sequence of time or correct sequence of actions that happens in the novel. Writers will not express everything to the reader. The reader has to draw his own conclusions. Everything depends upon the reader according to the modern text, and it's up to the reader whether to believe or not to believe the writer's concept. So here Pradeepan Pampirikunnu tries to historicize the perspective of Parayan. And the first part we can see that Eri is introduced by telling a tale, and this is the tale. It goes like this. I heard about him was this. It was around 12 at night. It is late midnight. Chaliyan Raman. Chaliyan means a community, and this community is Kulathoil is clothes weaving and like that. And Chaliyan Raman is returning to his home after his business, that is his business to give clothes to the mill in Kannur. So he is walking and he reached mosque, and then he again walked 10 miles. He had to walk 10 miles to reach his street where he lived, that is Pannur street. The chutu that he had lighted in Payoli had almost burnt out. What is chutu? A bundle of dried coconut leaves, and it is, when lighted, it is used as a torch. In those days there is no torch or mobile or nothing, and this chutu is used as a torch. So, and this chutu is about to extinguish, it is about to burn out. So this Chaliyan Raman is in the darkness, and he was surrounded by darkness. He groped in the dark and somehow reached Anjampidiya. Anyway, he തപ്പിത്തടഞ്ഞ് അയാൾ അഞ്ചാംപീടിയ വരെ എങ്ങനെയല്ലോ എത്തി. അപ്പോൾ തിരിച്ച് വരുന്ന വഴിക്ക് there is a tea stall. Someone was sitting in the veranda of the tea stall and chewing betel. അയാൾ വെറ്റില തിന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്, ചവച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നു. His robustness showed itself through the dark. His energetic body, his he is very healthy man. It's shown in this posture. And he is short in stature. He is not so height. He is short. And he sat in a posture resembling Buddha. When you see his posture, you think that Buddha is sitting. In the same posture, this man is sitting. And this Raman asked, "Is there any way to get a chutu?" Raman is asking, you know that his chutu has burned out, and he cannot reach his home without this light, because everywhere it is night. It's midnight, 12 o'clock. Since there was no way to make out his caste, the mode of address and his submissive tone were not very evident in that question. So, in the darkness, you cannot find who is the man and to which caste he belongs. So, there is no submissive tone is not evident in this question, because if he belongs to some upper caste, he want to use some submissive tone. കുറച്ച് നല്ല എളിമയോടെ സംസാരിക്കേണ്ടി വരും. നേരെ തിരിച്ച് കുറച്ചുകൂടി താഴ്മയുള്ളവരോടാണെങ്കിൽ അവരോട് കുറച്ച് ഉച്ചത്തിൽ സംസാരിക്കാം. So since in the darkness he cannot see the man who is before him, he just asks, is there any ഈ ചൂട്ട് കിട്ടാൻ എന്തെങ്കിലും വഴിയുണ്ടോ? So the man in the darkness replies, there is no chutu, but I can find you a way. So the man says that I will show you another way. And he says that hope you don't have any problem coming nearer. You see, in these words we can feel the caste discrimination. In those days, the higher caste and lower caste are not mingled. There is always distance between the people. So the man in the darkness have no problem with standing near or going to nearer him, but he asked the man, this Chalian Raman, can I come near to you? And the man in the darkness took a dappi. Dappi means a small box from the Korea in his waist, and there is a small bag made of these pine leaves. ഈ പനയോളകൾ കൊണ്ടുണ്ടാക്കിയ ഒരു ചെറിയൊരു ബാഗിൽ നിന്ന് ഈ ഒരു ദപ്പി എടുത്ത് അതിനെ തുറന്ന് and he takes with his left little finger some medicine and apply to this Raman's eyes. So അയാൾ എന്താ ചെയ്തത്? ചൂട്ടിയൊന്നുമില്ല, വേറെ വഴിയുണ്ട്. അങ്ങനെ അയാൾ ഒരു ചെറിയ ബോക്സിൽ നിന്ന് എന്തോ ഒരു മരുന്ന് പോലത്തെ എന്തോ സാധനം അയാൾ കണ്ണുമ്പോൾ പുരട്ടി കൊടുത്തു. അങ്ങനെ അയാൾ പോയിക്കൊന്നു പറഞ്ഞു. So the Raman walked. Darkness gave him way. പക്ഷേ അയാൾ ഇരുട്ടത്ത് അയാൾക്ക് കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ട്. Raman turned back in wonder. What is this? He is wondering what happened. What is this medicine? Who is that man? And he tried to turn back, but he sees no one there. And Raman got shocked, and he started to walk fastly. He quickened his pace. He started very fastly. Within no time, Raman reached the തെരുവ്. സോ അയാൾ പേടി കൊണ്ട് അയാൾ ഒരുപാട് ഫാസ്റ്റിൽ നടന്നുകൊണ്ട് പെട്ടെന്ന് തന്നെ അയാൾ വീട്ടിലെ സ്ഥലത്ത് സ്ട്രീറ്റിൻ്റെ അടുത്തെത്തി. ഇൻ ദ ഡിസ്റ്റൻസ് ദ ലാൻറ്റേൺ ഇൻ ഹിസ് ഹൗസ് വാസ് സ്റ്റിൽ ബേണിംഗ്. സോ റാന്തൽ ഇപ്പോഴും കത്തിക്കൊണ്ട് നിൽക്കുന്നുണ്ട് അയാളെ വീട്ടിൽ. ഹി ക്യാൻ സീ ദറ്റ് ലൈറ്റ്. പെട്ടെന്ന് അയാൾ ലൈറ്റ് കണ്ടതും അയാളെ കണ്ണിലുണ്ടായിരുന്ന ഈ മരുന്നിൻ്റെ ആ എഫക്റ്റ് മാറിയാലും ഹി സീസ് ദാറ്റ് ഡാർക്ക്നെസ് അയാളെ പൊതിഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നത് പോലെ തോന്നും. എൻഗൾഫ് മീൻസ് പൊതിഞ്ഞിരിക്കുക. He is covered with the darkness. So when he sees the light of his house, the darkness is covered around him. Raman was surprised. What had happened? Sleep eluded him that night. അയാൾക്കന്ന് ഓർക്കേ വന്നില്ല. He could not sleep. Eluded means sleep avoided him. As the morning light streamed in the next day, അയാൾ നെക്സ്റ്റ് ഡേ ആവാൻ വേണ്ടി കാത്തു നിൽക്കുകയാണ്. നെക്സ്റ്റ് ഡേ മോർണിംഗ് ലൈറ്റ് കാണുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് ഹി ഹൈസ്റ്റൻ അയാൾ പെട്ടെന്ന് തന്നെ 5-ാം പീടികയിലേക്ക് പോയി. ഹി നെറേറ്റഡ് വാട്ട് ഹാഡ് ഹാപ്പൻ ടു ദ നായർ. ടീ ഷോപ്പ് നടത്തുന്ന നായറിനോട് അയാൾ നടന്ന സംഭവങ്ങളൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞു. മാധവൻ നായർ സെഡ്, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് എരി ഫോർ ഷ്യൂർ, പറയാനേരി. സോ യു സീ ഇൻ ദിസ് folk. This is folk. This is tale. In this story, you can see that Eri is known as some black magician, and he is known for many things. He is known as magician, black magician, tantragnan, other all other things. So I hope I stop here and let's continue in the next class. I hope you understood, and please read the chapter. Um, First, you must read about Eri and the writer and the subaltern perspective of this writer, and who I have explained everything about Eri, and we have a ritual called we have to read the ritual called Polapedi. That I have also I think you understood, you all people understood. So please read the text and listen to the classes very nicely. Thank you children. See you next day.